This episode is brought to you by Lightstream, the nation's premier online consumer lender. Lightstream offers low-interest, fixed-rate loans from $5,000 to $100,000 for practically any purpose. I am so grateful to them for making this show a possibility. I really am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The Queer Family Podcast. Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
Tiff and Carissa.
Hey.
Hey, Tiff and Carissa are back all the way from season freaking 2, y'all. This is season 11, so it's been a minute. They're back to kind of give us an update on where they are and to help me introduce our interview of today. And it's a good interview, but we'll get into that. For all of y'all who don't remember or haven't listened to Tiff and Carissa's episodes, I should say. And if you haven't, what's wrong with you? Go back and listen, please, season 2. But they reached out to us because they were having a conundrum with which donor to choose because they're an interracial couple and they weren't sure where to go. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's why you reached out in the first place, right? Because then we had like updates and Tiff and then there was a theme song for you and you were like dropping into episodes. Like we went all out. Oh my God.
I forgot about the theme song.
Tiff and Carissa are having a baby. That was it.
Hey. Yes.
Oh my God. Yes.
Wow. I do think that was the initial reason.
Yeah.
That and there was a lack of queer interracial comment and people talking about trying to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, hey, we can't find any families that look like us talking about making families. Like, do you all have any? Like, I think we asked you. I think we asked you, like, do you guys have an episode with like an interracial couple? Because like we'd love to hear it.
And we were like, come on in. Good idea. Why don't you come on in and talk to us? And that's how this beautiful relationship began, right?
Yeah. And it's wild too, because we are literally to do like a weird like snapshot of our life. But when we first recorded with you, we were living in Detroit in this beautiful apartment. And we loved it. We loved it so much. And the pandemic hit like right after we found out we were pregnant. Right. And then we moved to DC and Maryland. Where we have literally been for the past 3 years up until last month when we moved back into the same exact apartment that we were in previously in Detroit. Wow. So we are literally after like going Midwest, East Coast, Midwest, we are back in the exact same apartment that we recorded our initial episode with you in.
Holy shit, full circle. Full circle.
The TLDR is this. The wisdom is this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You came back. Oh my God. Okay. So you're back home. Yeah. You've made it back home. The prodigal children have returned with a baby
with an
time.
Additional child.
So, all right. So wait, let's talk. Wait, so you have a baby. So, okay. The whole time we were talking to you throughout the entire season, you had gone through so many shenanigans to find a donor. I mean, you went down so many roads and paths.
Yeah.
It was fascinating and eye-opening to hear. Like, let's just like in a nutshell, because the guests that we're introducing today, they used a known donor. They used a nephew, which brings with it all different complications. And I'm thinking, in all of your paths, was a known donor ever one of them? I don't think so, right?
We talked about it for like a second because I have 2 brothers and we were like, well, maybe because then thered be a genetic link from both of us. And then it was never even so much of a serious, like we never even went to them. Like we never brought it up to them.
It admittedly at the time, and to some extent, I guess I have a softness for that past me, but it kind of creeps me out a little bit, admittedly.
Right. I get it.
It really did.
It's not for everyone.
I'm telling you, because I think I was just watching too much Handmaid's Tale.
Oh.
And I was very concerned about the fact that, like, if
they would have
if stuff goes left, right.
Because that's what makes it more complicated, because the family can get involved.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's what makes it more common. So you have to
Yes.
have everything figured out and buttoned up ahead of time.
Yeah. We did have, for a second, we tried a known donor that was a friend of yours.
That's true.
Oh, you did?
Not family
Not
related.
so, but
though.
that's a known donor. Oh, so you did go down. See, I told you went down like every path. Like,
we
come
did.
on.
We went to, we like jumped around, right?
We
did.
Our first ever attempt was from a bank.
Yep.
And then we tried a different bank. And then we tried our known donor.
Yep.
And then we went through a different bank through a fertility clinic.
Right.
Yep.
And that was what we ended up going with.
That's the one that worked.
Ended up clicking.
But there was a Facebook donor as well, wasn't there?
Oh my God. I forgot about that.
The free donor.
Oh yeah,
group.
we did. We met with that person in like a diner.
I think so.
Or like
out in the boonies somewhere.
Weird.
Yes, I remember this.
Like, where are you taking me out here?
So for all of you listeners who are not familiar, which if you listen to this show, I think you're familiar with these Facebook groups by now because we talk about it all the time. There are Facebook groups for sperm donors. Just to they show up, they say, I am willing to be a donor and we can make a deal.
And honestly, I now more than I think ever before understand why these groups are so important, and it's worth the risk, because if you are if you are a Black person hoping to find a donor who looks like you or even is just melanated, your options are super limited if you're trying to go through the banks.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on this, Tiffany, because you talked a lot about it in your episode and in all your updates, just the privilege involved in queer baby making and, you know, the discrepancies that are there between Black and white folks. So,
for sure. Especially because when we looked, I think it's gotten a little bit better, but when we were looking the hardest and the most, I mean, it was really the only Black donors you could find were very fair skinned. They did not look like they weren't like me. I'm brown. I'm brown. I've got African features. Like
they at least had a white grandparent
at minimum.
Like they literally listed that.
Minimum one.
And the bank that we fully ended up going through, I think at the time that we went through them, and probably still now, I haven't checked, they had maybe 3 or 4 Black donors.
But then it becomes even more
hundreds.
limited.
Yeah.
It gets more limited based on the type of donor that you need in terms of the type of sperm that you need. You know, because the baby batter is prepared in very different ways.
I like the baby batter. I think, are y'all the folks that taught me baby danced? Was that you?
It probably was us. Yeah.
But we can't baby dance because we're queer. We can't baby dance.
Yeah, for sure. You can baby dance. Just I say that all the time. It's a horizontal mambo, if you will.
Sometimes. But anyway, okay. So you ended up and there was also the issue of, okay, what are we gonna get a Black donor or a white donor? You decided on a Black donor in the end?
We decided on a white donor.
Oh.
We decided on whoever was going to get me pregnant.
Because it took a while.
No. We did, but we didn't actually ever try with a Black donor.
We did too.
No,
the first one that we mail ordered.
They were white.
Okay, I have amnesia,
selective amnesia.
But that's the thing. When you're in the journey, every single detail means so much. When you're out of the journey and it's in the past, forget so much. Like it's so much far in the past.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Our ultimate decision was we wanted to try and get a baby that when they popped out looked like they might have come out of either of us.
That's true.
Because we thought that not just like optics in the way we think of optics, but optics in the terms of like safety.
Yeah.
Correct.
We wanted a baby that literally looked like maybe they came out of either of us. So maybe we wouldn't be as challenged.
And it did turn out to work.
It worked way better than we thought it was going to work.
But
what do you mean?
The child looks like me sometimes.
Aww.
But also thank God for it. Because do you want to tell her about when we tried to take that cruise?
What happened? Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We went on a cruise that was leaving out of Florida. So we were down there and we had to have, the baby's birth certificate because they didn't have like a passport or anything yet. And this older white dude was questioning, well, who's mom? And I was like, well, we're both mom. And like, literally, like, we're both on the birth certificate. Like, we're both mom. And he was like, I see what you all, what did he say? I see what y'all are trying to do.
That's what he said.
I see what y'all are trying to do, but I need to know which one of you is like actually mom,
No,
like
you
who
don't.
has the same last name, which
Right.
was like ridiculous. He
Yeah.
ended up putting me down as real mom because me and the baby share the same last name and
Right.
Tiff hasn't changed their name yet.
Right.
Oh,
But it was like, but we like literally like told him
Yep.
that Tiff birthed the baby.
I was
Yeah.
like, you want to see my stretch marks? I'm like real mom too.
You want to see my
And
stretched
he
out
just, like,
nipples?
Thank you.
I was like, how are you going on last name anyway? Because plenty of people who birthed their own children in heterosexual relationships don't have the same last name as their child.
Really
So,
don't.
like, what? He was literally, he just wanted to like fuck with us.
Yeah.
Wow. We would have been
Yeah.
fucked
It
because our
sucked.
kids have a hyphenated name. We don't share the same name. Like, I mean, we kind of halfway do.
This is what I mean though when I
Mhm.
say like it's this roundabout
Mhm.
racism. It's this
Mm.
roundabout homophobia. It's this roundabout. And I promise you, if you went and found that guy right now and asked him, he would say he did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
He
Right.
would say like I was just making sure that this kid. But even so, I promise you, if our baby looked as melanated as me,
Mm.
he would have just clocked. Oh, yep, this is you're the
Yeah.
real mom and you're not, and,
And you're just the
and then
friend.
that would have been that.
Yeah.
But because she's
And if our
literally,
baby
like,
was more fair, like
Mhm.
you,
yeah.
he would have been
Right.
like, "Oh, you're the real mom. We're done." Da da da. Like, you know what I mean? So
The
like
one time it
having
hasn't worked in our
a
favor.
medium ground.
You worked so hard to make sure everything was safe and good. And then
Yeah,
the one
still.
Yeah.
aspect. Oh my God. This is the issue. This is the problem. This is why
Yeah,
we need podcasts like this and we need our stories out there.
yeah,
That man should be forced to listen to this episode
absolutely.
and all of the episodes.
Really, the lesson is this, because I was so meticulous and I was so particular. I was like, we have to have this document, this paperwork, we have to this, we da 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 da. We never go anywhere without her birth certificate. We don't do the like. We are very, very, very careful because, in my mind, I was like, we have to use every single thing that we have, every single legal protection that we have in order to protect us as parents. But it doesn't matter when it comes down to it. The society is who actually makes sure that whatever laws that are there are even enforced, because that could have been a really, really far more traumatic experience, both for our baby and for us. And it was my mom's first time really seeing that happen like that. And this was the start of our first like family vacation. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the laws do matter. They're helpful, but they're not everything. At a certain point, people need to get behind us. They have to do it. Because somebody could have stepped in and done something. Somebody could have done it.
Okay, we have to introduce the interview.
Sorry.
Because I think that, well, we already talked about like the known donor thing and how that kind of complicates things. They're also an interracial couple, and they talk a bit about that, which is fun. It's a great conversation. And I have to just tell everybody up front, the sound is not the best, so you have to bear with it because we're having technical difficulties over here at the Queer Family Podcast, and with all the different guests that I'm bringing in, sometimes we don't have a mic. Sometimes we don't have headphones. Sometimes, like this interview today, we have a baby crying.
Yeah. In this economy, I'd be crying too through the whole thing. Okay.
So they had their beautiful baby with them, and she was kind of in and out. It's kind of hilarious and cute because she was adorable. But she's making, and then she was like blowing raspberries for like 10 minutes. So that's in there too. So enjoy that, everyone. It's a wonderful, wonderful episode. Their names are Jonele and Ashley, and I'm excited for you guys to hear it, and I'm excited for all of the listeners to hear it. And I have to tell you one more thing. I forgot. I'm looking for interns. So if you want to join the Queer Family Podcast team, I am looking to make a team of interns. It's time. I cannot do all this on my own anymore. I am burnt out. So send me an email.
For you, Jamie.
Thank you. Send me an email at thequeerfamilypodcast@gmail.com. It's a long name, but you can just type it. You're fine. You're good with typing. It's all good. Anything else you want to add before we roll this tape? Helen and Beulah roll the tape.
I would just like to say that I'm so, so proud of you, Jamie. And I'm very, very thrilled to see where this podcast has gone and how much it's grown. And it was really, really helpful for us at
Oh.
a time in our lives that felt very scary and nerve-wracking. We had no idea what was coming in. But at the time, we were getting a lot of messages that said no, no,
Uh-huh.
no, 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 no.
Mhm, mhm.
No to your family, no to your love,
Mm.
no to this like manifestation of your relationship that
Mhm.
against what just seemed like all odds,
Mhm.
we were able to make it happen. And it's been a dream come true. Our little
Yeah.
movie is the best thing that ever happened to us. So
Mm.
take that. Everybody was
Take
like,
that.
nah. But also it was just really helpful to have y'all in our corner and to see what our future could look like. It's really, really, it was really helpful and it was really necessary.
Oh, make me cry over here. Thank you. I'm doing my best. I'm going to keep it going as long as I can because we're here, we're queer, and we're not going anywhere. And these stories need to be fucking told. Let's be real.
Correct.
Helen and Beulah are dying to roll the tape. They love you too.
Yeah.
They're thanking you profusely for coming in and doing this intro with me. And I love you so much. Thank you. And you're coming back. Definitely coming back.
Yes.
All right.
We love you too.
Oh.
We'd love
Thank
to come back.
you.
Helen and Beulah, roll that tape.
Queer Family Podcast.
Wait, Helen, stop. Before you roll that tape, I need to mention one thing. I have to mention Patreon. If you all like this show and you want to keep hearing these super important LGBTQIA plus family stories, you can help. You can join my Patreon community. I've got various tiers on the page starting at just $2 a month. You're going to do a good thing and you're going to get bonus content like videos of most episodes dropped a day early, crazy behind the scenes shenanigans of yours truly trying to get it together, and anything else I can think of to keep you all entertained and engaged. You're just going to head to patreon.com/the Queer Family Podcast to join. And a huge, 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 huge thank you to all you Patreons who are already supporting this show. It means the world to me. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Helen and Beulah, please roll that tape.
The Queer Family Podcast.
Hi, I have Ashley and Jonele here. Hello.
Hey, hello. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to talk to you. It's amazing because y'all live so close to where my wife grew up.
Neighbors. We're neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. So next time I'm in Queens Village, I'm going to come knock on your door and bring a pie or something or some drinks.
We
Why'd
can
I
go
say
to
pie?
Gabby's. We can get pizza.
Okay. I don't even know Gabby's. Look, you can teach me the neighborhood. So, all right, before we get into your whole story, why don't you two give us the elevator pitch of who you are and why you're here? And don't worry, you have 30 seconds and I'm going to put a timer up, but don't worry your pretty heads off because I will never, ever, ever, ever cut you off. I will let you go and go and go. This is just fun. So don't get nervous. It's 30 seconds. You have the time and you know who you are. All right. On your marks, get set.
You go.
Go.
I'm going. Okay. So we are the Majors. That's our last name. So we're the Majors. We are an interracial lesbian couple. We both identify as cisgender females. We recently have we had a daughter. She's 5 months old. Her name is Araya. And we also have our own, we started our own brand called Major Motivation because we're both trainers as well as teachers. So that's 30 seconds. That's our brand and that's our business.
You know what?
That's it. That's us.
Are you on media trained? Because that was amazing. You got it all in.
Thanks. And that was not
rehearsed.
Practice or nothing.
No. Good job.
So,
nice work.
Thanks.
So before we dig deep into the whole story, I just have to let everyone know they have a wonderful baby because the baby is literally there just hanging out.
She's in her room.
That would have never happened with either one of my kids. So that's beautiful. But if we hear baby. That's Araya. Just making her voice known.
Yes.
And then we have a neighbor upstairs vacuuming.
Yep. Yes. Yep. Hopefully she'll be done soon. Yeah.
Because you can't make this shit up. All right. So let's take it all the way back to when the two of you met. Let's take it back to the beginning.
The beginning. Well, first of all, we both grew up in Long Island. So we actually both went to the same high school.
Oh, uh-oh.
Just
11 years apart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we have an age gap here. So
Although no one ever knows.
I don't know who's older. I really don't. I can't tell. Look at
See?
that.
Exactly.
I don't really know how to feel about that. It's a compliment to her, but I'm not really sure when people say that. I'm like, you can't tell. No, we get that a lot. But I was dating somebody at the time that we met. I was actually dating a man, and we went to high school together.
We forgive you for that.
Thank you.
Just kidding.
Can you blame me? Because, these females out here sometimes are a little cray.
Can be difficult. It's true.
He was actually friends with her nephew.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So she has older siblings.
Uh-huh.
So their kids, I went to high school with.
Her then boyfriend had hit me up to try to get her a job.
Mm.
Long story short, my ex ended up getting a job in Seattle.
Oh.
We were going to go, and I just freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met her and talking to her, and I was like, I just missed that connection with the LGBTQ community and feeling of, a same-sex partner. And, so there was just a lot of like mixed emotions going on. So long story short, I went to Seattle for 2 days and then came back.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
But before you went away to Seattle for the 2 days, did y'all hook up at all? You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. I think you just gave me my answer.
I mean, we really spent like the whole summer together, really.
Mm-hmm.
We just found ourselves kind of just planning and like seeing each other. It was, how lesbians are.
I do. I very much do.
But yeah, there might have been a little kiss here and there.
Maybe a little bit, just a little bit, right? Just, as we do, as you do. So then what happens? How does it propel forward? How do we get to the next step?
So she came back from Seattle. I got her a job at a school that was close to us because at that time, my school said they weren't hiring.
Mm-hmm.
She at the time was still living in Long Island at her mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
I, of course, live in Queens. So it was just more convenient for her to go from here to work.
Obviously.
Right.
So she was here most of the time. So, I mean, I guess we U-hauled it real fast.
Yeah, I was going to say it, but I'm glad you U-hauled it. You U-hauled it, as we do.
That lasted about a couple months of commuting. And I'm like, so like, are we going to make this official? Like, what's going on here? So I think one day we were out and I was like,
when are you going to ask me to move in with you?
No, I think I introduced myself as your girlfriend.
Oh yeah, she sure did. She sure did.
Listen, if you want something done, just do it yourself.
There
right?
you go. That's the name of this episode.
I could be shy a little bit, but sometimes I'm like, hey,
this is my.
Listen.
You knew what you wanted. You had already U-hauled. It's a done deal. It's done. This is lesbian words. This is lesbian life here.
Exactly.
By the way, let's talk about how I said I was never going to get married.
Uh-oh.
And I was never having a kid.
There it is.
I was like, no, this is never going to work. Because let me guess, you want a kid and you want to get married. And I'm not doing any of that. And you said
you never wanted to be with another teacher.
Yes, and I never wanted to be another teacher because who wants to be off when their significant others off? Maybe I want my own time.
She does. She wants to be off when I'm off.
Oh, miss, if I take a day, you take a day.
Yes.
Uh-oh. But listen, when the baby's in school, it'll be helpful because you'll all be off at the same time.
Yeah.
I'll say that much. But Jonele, I want to know, when you say you didn't want to ever get married and you didn't want to ever get kids, why do you think that is?
I probably wasn't with the right person.
Okay.
To me, I just think that people get married for all the wrong. If I'm with someone, I'm the type of person that if I'm with someone, I don't need to be a piece of paper or anything to put she's a contract on. I'm very loyal.
Yeah.
I see so many people that are married that are miserable and cheating all the time. So what's the point of getting married? If I say I'm with you and you're my girlfriend or you're my fiance, to me, it's no different than being married.
Right. I feel you.
I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that that's
Right.
who I want to be with.
And what about with the baby thing? Like, because a lot of times, like a theme that comes up a lot of times with couples on this show is like one person in the couple will say, I never wanted kids. I never really thought about kids because like for me, it was never really an option in my head. But is that what the case was for you? Or it was just kind of like,
No, I just didn't want kids. Like it's a lot of work.
it is.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication. And I feel like there's so many people that are having kids that should have my mentality and not want to have kids because they have kids and then don't want to raise the kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. It's not, you can be a mom or you can be a dad when you want to.
No.
So, and it's expensive also.
It sure is.
So,
sure is.
you know, I don't know. The last relationship I was in, my significant other had a kid.
Oh.
So I raised her from 5th grade to 11th grade. So
wow.
So I did raise a kid.
Yeah, you did.
Love is love.
All right, folks, how are those New Year's resolutions going for you? Are you drinking less? Are you going to bed earlier? Are you waking up earlier? Okay, those are my very loose resolutions, and that is exactly how they're going, very loosely. So I'm sorry, I can't help you with any of those kinds of resolutions. Not my thing, not my thing. But you know what I can help you with? I can help you pay off any credit card debt you have with a low fixed rate loan from Lightstream. If your resolution is to reduce your credit card debt, one way to get ahead is by consolidating that debt and paying a low fixed rate loan instead. Lightstream makes the process simple. A credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream can help you pay off your credit cards and lock in a low fixed interest rate. Rates start at 7.99% APR with auto pay and excellent credit. Plus, this is good, the rate is fixed, so it will never go up over the life of the loan. Great. You can even get your money as soon as the day you apply, which is great as well. So if you're saving for queer baby making or second parent adoption or anything else, Lightstream is here for you. And just for the Queer Family Podcast listeners, apply now to get a special interest rate discount and save even more. The only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/OCT. That's LIGHTSTREAM.com/OCT. Disclaimer, subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/OCT for more info. Go do it.
Queer Family Podcast.
So, didn't want married, didn't want kids, but it ended up happening, obviously.
I just started seeing that she was kind of talking about kids more in like okay, well, what if?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, would you? And then we just kind of went from there and we spoke about it, and it was something that we ended up both wanting, and now we have this little one.
I love it. I love it. So did you end up getting married too, or you're not married?
Yes, we are married. So she actually proposed like right before the shutdown. So she proposed, and we were like, that's her favorite thing.
Shit,
right?
The baby is blowing raspberries, right? Oh my God.
Like, where did you learn this from?
Oh my God, this is parent life. This is parent life right here. Right here. Oh my God.
June of 2021, we got married.
And then, like, Jonele, you've come around to baby. You've come around to the idea of a baby. So then how do y'all go about creating your family?
Actually, my sister's son, everybody always thinks that we look, every time we go out and we have like I said, they're close in age. I'm closer in age to my nieces and nephews than my brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
They always think we are brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, why don't we ask him?
Oh
the worst he could do is say no.
Right.
At first he was like, I don't know, because he has no kids. He doesn't have any kids yet.
Okay.
And, it's understandable. I feel like that's like, a big question to ask, especially you're going to see that child often or often enough, So, it was understandable to have some reservation. So we talked about it and threw around the idea a lot. But when it was like time to really, we were like, okay, let's have this summer after our wedding. And then, come September, we'll start trying. I was like, who knows? Maybe, he'll back out or, you never know until it's like, all right, let's try and do this. But he was all for it. And I said, it would be nice if we had somebody and someone that was willing to, donate their sperm, like it would be some of her biological blood, So
it's like the best. It's the best case scenario.
Right. So, which we do see a lot of her family in her. So
it worked. So it really happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. We've talked to a lot of folks who've used like a brother or a relative, but like, were you scared to initially ask him?
Yeah, no, I mean, at first, but then I was like, the worst he could do is say no. And my niece, who I'm very close with, his sister was like, I was like, what do you think about it? She's like, I think he'll definitely do it. I was like, all right, so we'll ask him.
Wow. So time came. So wait, did you go to a fertility clinic? How'd you do this?
So I was like, let me try to do it with the least amount of doctors possible. I don't like needles and shots and stuff like that. So, and giving blood. So, which I had to do, here and there anyway. But I said, if we can just do this at home, let's try it out a couple times, if we're lucky, we're lucky. I was lucky enough, like I wasn't super crazy about tracking and, my ovulation and stuff like that. Like, so I just did it on one of my apps and I said, okay, I'm ovulating here and I'm going to be most fertile this day. So let's have him come over.
And I went and got the turkey baster.
We got the Mosie kit. We got the Mosie kit.
That's how we call it on this show lovingly anyway, the turkey baster method.
Yes.
Even though we don't use a turkey baster anymore.
Right.
Anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You use the Mosie Baby Kit?
Yeah. So we used that and we tried it. I think we inseminated in September. So I ended up getting pregnant. But it was not
viable.
Yeah. A viable pregnancy.
Wow.
And then we tried again in December, but I got, it worked. So we were like, okay, there's hope. So
there's hope, right?
Let's give it, maybe one more try. Let's try it again.
Because when she went and it didn't, like, at first it was two eggs, right? Or two. So what?
Two sacks.
Two sacks. So they weren't. They didn't. There was no fetal pole in them. So they're like, all right, come back. Let's see. They might not be viable.
So so you went to the doctor to test, and there was something there, but there was like no heartbeat.
Yeah. There was no. It's called a fetal pole. There was nothing in the sac.
This is new for me. I haven't heard this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So not a viable.
So it's
pregnancy.
like before. Yeah, it's before like you even hear a heartbeat. There needs to be a fetal pole in the sacs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that hard? Was that hard for you?
It was hard. I feel like because are we going? How you wanna? Yeah. We were going through a rough time in our marriage. In general. So it was a lot of there was a lot of emotions going on. Let's just put it that way. So we weren't okay. And then this happened. And I feel like, it definitely took a toll on us. I feel like I wasn't really able to like think about like what was going on because like we were so like not in a good spot. But we tried again afterwards. And we were in a better spot. We were in a better place. And that was like in the beginning, mid-December. And that ended up we waited a longer period of time to go to the doctor to try. Cause, we were like, let's just wait and be patient. And because we went really early the last time. So we were like slowly seeing, things progress. We were week to week. We were seeing, okay, is it a good pregnancy? Is it not? They were having me come every week, and it was a lot.
The first one or the second?
The first time.
The first one you went like after 2 weeks?
Yeah. We took a pregnancy test and we're like, oh.
So it was a lot. Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard. You see the positive test and then that shit happens and then you're already going through what you're going through. I mean, shitty, right? And so the second time you waited a little longer.
So I took an at-home test, like 3 weeks, and I was like, let's wait 3 more weeks. So I'll be like 6 or 7 weeks. And then when we go, we'll be able to hear a heartbeat or not, if it's a good pregnancy or not. So we went in like mid-January and then we heard a heartbeat.
Wow.
So it was like probably like a month later, like January 15th or something like that.
And our doctor was like, this is crazy. You guys got to put the fertility clinics out of business. I can't believe, because after the first time it wasn't viable, he's like, oh, maybe you should go see fertility. I'm like, wait a minute. We tried one time and she was pregnant.
Right.
So why would you say like, go see a fertility doctor already? Like, okay, we'll try. And then they said, don't try again for another 3 months. We literally waited for one period. And then the next time we tried it.
This is, you know what, you're bringing up a point that comes up a lot on this show. Like a lot of queer couples who go to the clinic to get pregnant, they have this frustration. They're treated like an infertile couple when they're not. And they're treated a certain type of way because that's what the clinics are set up to cater to, is the people who are infertile. And we're not infertile, we just are missing a part, right? And then like when it doesn't work out, they make you wait this certain period of time and they have all these rules that don't necessarily pertain to us.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, we're just going to do our own thing.
Because
it works.
It worked.
I did end up, they say, like go through, like get your regular period, like twice or 3 times or something. I got my period and I just waited for the next time. How are you? I just waited for the next time that I was ovulating. And then I was like, let's just try again.
Because you know what? Because straight couples who try at home, they're not waiting.
Right.
They're
exactly.
Still having sex.
Right.
And we should be allowed to have sex too.
Exactly.
Not that works, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so it worked. Yay, exciting.
Yeah.
And what was it like with your nephew? And did you get papers? Did you sign papers? Like what is your agreement with your nephew?
We did not sign papers yet. We have to do the second parent adoption.
Yeah.
But you have to wait until after she's born. We have not done that yet. But we see him. He comes around, but he's in his own world. He's cool with it. Yeah, he's cool with it.
But did you have a conversation with him about what his role would be or what his role would not be like conversations around it?
It was actually harder for not him. I think like his, like my sister and like, my niece, because he doesn't have any children yet.
Right.
So,
which is honestly something that I didn't even, I guess I thought about who she would be to her family, but not, I guess,
because the whole family they would really involved.
Right. So
the whole family's involved, and so you have to have conversations with the whole family about. Now, listen.
Yes.
This is my child.
Yep.
And you're allowing the whole family to take part in her life, obviously.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to acknowledge who she is to the two of you.
Right.
It's complicated. This shit's complicated, right?
Yeah, and I feel like, it's like, although this part is complicated, I felt like, when she gets older, I do like the fact that, she's not going to, because I feel like it's common for, like, I have a few people in my family who are adopted or, or actually I have cousins that were born through IVF. My aunt is a single mother, and
with a donor.
I feel like,
sperm donor.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Right. So, I feel like that common question comes up, like, who's my father or, who's, the other, who's the donor?
Where's the DNA come from, right? Like,
right. Yeah. So at least I feel like she will know that person. You
Right.
know?
And so it was important for her to know the other half of her DNA.
Right.
And
right.
not only does she know the other half of, well, she knows the other half of her DNA because she's holding her right now as well. Like
Right.
You both share DNA with
Exactly.
your baby, which is just
Right.
freaking beautiful, which a lot of our families don't have.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like we were definitely lucky enough to be in this situation and actually have it work.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
with it come other complications that you have to work through and talk through. And, you know, and sometimes you got to get buttoned up legally and all the things just because you don't know what's in other folks' minds and hearts. And, you know, and that's the thing. But also in all the families that I talk to, like, what it comes down to, especially with our queer families who come about in so many ways, is like a lot of us come to the conclusion that because we kind of have to, because we're kind of forced to, that, you know what, the more the merrier. The more people my children or my child has in their lives who love them and will protect them, the better. But sometimes it's hard to come to that realization.
Right. And honestly, I think that using my nephew's sperm was actually it was good for my dad.
Oh,
like,
really?
I feel my dad is not he's very
accepting.
old school. He's not very accepting. Like but he loves this little baby.
Oh,
he loves this baby.
And he is blood related as well.
Right.
Which matters to some grandparents. So you're the first nephew donor I've spoken to in 200 episodes. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Oh, wow.
So she's 5 months now. You're working on the second parent. You said you had to wait till she was born. Is that because your nephew was the donor? He's not on the birth certificate, is he?
No, but you have to wait. We have to wait till she's born because we need the birth certificate.
Oh, yeah. I gotcha.
But yeah, she was able to like instantly go, even though she wasn't the birth parent, go on her insurance, and you know she was able to be on the birth certificate, and they acknowledged her as the second parent like immediately. So
that's awesome. The lawyers that we've spoken to on the show just make sure you get that second parent adoption just in case. You just never know. You just never know. It's better to have it all buttoned up legally. But it sounds like everything is just going beautifully.
Yeah, it's great. She's awesome.
Everything's so beautiful, and she's so easy that y'all launched your own business.
Yes, we've been talking about it since the shutdown, actually. So we're kind of just starting to like pick up with everything. So it's like, it's exciting.
Exciting. So what is the business?
So, well, you always have been major motivation. So that was her as a brand in herself, because along with teachers, she was a personal trainer. I'm actually a personal trainer too. We're both trainers. So I came into it, and we both have a love for fitness. You know, we post videos of just us working out, and we were like, well, when we get married, we're both going to be major. So we could both be major motivation. So I was like, well, I love athletic clothes. Like I live in leggings, and I don't think I put on jeans the whole pandemic. Like
who would? Why would we do that?
Still really, I
pants are
think in the past 2 years,
pandemic.
I think I wore a pair of jeans twice, I think.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I want to like make my own leggings. Like I want to try to make this an athletic brand. Like I want to be an athletic brand.
Yeah.
And we started off with some sweatshirts and stuff. And, we're going to venture out into sets and joggers
Can you see?
So
I see it. Major motivation. I see it. Yes. It's very nice. Where can people find you? And where can people find
it's major-motivation.com. TikTok, it's Major Mamas. And Instagram, it's Major Motivation Merch.
Okay. So everybody go check it out. Support the queer makers.
Yes.
Not just baby makers, but clothing makers.
Yes. And thank you for giving us the platform to come and share our story. Because
these stories need to be told. They need to be told. There's not enough of our stories out there. Not by far, not enough. So I am really grateful to you for sharing your story, even with the baby blowing raspberries. And y'all are champs. You made it through. We made it through. I had a jackhammer outside my window.
We made it.
We made it.
The Queer Family Podcast.
Well, folks, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. I know I did. What a good story. But the conversation is not over, folks. Be sure you're following the show on all the socials. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at the Queer Family Podcast. You're going to get photos of all the guests there, some videos, and just, all around fun from yours truly. Who doesn't want that? Don't miss out. You don't want FOMO. Nobody wants FOMO. And don't forget to join me on Patreon to help me create this super important queer content. You're going to head to patreon.com/the Queer Family Podcast to sign up and get that bonus content. And one more thing, if you love this show and want to represent your love for us and our beautiful families, you need to head to our shop and get some Queer Family Podcast merchandise. We've got so many designs, and you can put these designs on any product in the store. We've got t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, notebooks, face masks, laptop cases. You're just going to go to tpublic.com and search for the Queer Family Podcast. Or you can find the shop on our website at thequeerfamilypodcast.com. There's so many ways. All right, folks, that's it for this week. Tune back in next week for another episode all about family, but with gay.